What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to Shooting the Shit Uncensored. This is the truth, the dad bod god, Piers Austin, and welcome back to the greatest podcast in the world. And tonight we have a special one for all of you guys. We got the owner of Kingdom Wrestling Entertainment, the man who has been mentioned on this podcast multiple times in the last couple of weeks, and he wanted to come on to respond and talk about those comments, etc., and much, much more. But before we get into that, let's talk about our sponsor for tonight's episode, and that is healthvape.com. Now, healthvape.com is your healthy vaping alternative. All of their products are no nicotine, no addictive or harmful chemicals. They help restore your energy while giving you the vital boost you need to get through your day. So go and check out healthvape.com. Go and check out all their healthy vape and pod products. Use that promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount on your final purchase. Also, wherever you are tuning in, wherever you are checking this out, I appreciate it. If you're tuning in on YouTube, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell to stay notified. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, please give us a 5-star review, baby, because it helps with our analytics and it helps us reach more amazing people with more amazing content. So get to clicking and let's get in right now with my conversation with the one, the only Adam fucking Graham, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the greatest podcast in the world. I am the truth, Piers Austin, and tonight I am with one of my favorite people in the entire world, and I know I say that about every guest, but this time I actually mean it. I'm with Kingdom Wrestling Entertainment owner, the one, the only, Adam fucking Graham. Welcome to the show, brother.
The dad bod god, it's my pleasure.
What's going on, man? It's been a long time since we had you on, man. Almost 2 years to the date.
Yeah. Look, man, I was just actually looking at the intro video and seeing all of the different people you've interviewed. Fuck, you've done well. You got some big names there,
dude. 3 years, man. It's been a grind, bro. It's been every week for 3 years. I've been able to drop multiple episodes.
Yeah, wow.
So
I'm pretty hard at it.
Yeah, man, it's always a grind, bro. I'm very lucky to have a good team behind me as well, bro, that help out with social media and promotion and everything like that, bro. So, I'm definitely very fortunate to have a good team, man. But talking about, man, you guys, Kingdom coming back to the scene, bro. You guys, Kingdom shut its doors. I think it was like sometime last year. And then, now deciding to come back. What was it that made you guys decided, okay, we need to sort of close up shop for a time being?
Business. Like what it comes down to, mate, is this is a business. And, I guess if I can use an example, if you're running a business and it's costing you more than is coming in, you'd have to be a crazy person to continue to run that business. You'd need to look at what you need to do to change the model, and what you need to do to make it sustainable. And wrestling is cyclical, and we went through a very, like, COVID fucked a lot of things, not just wrestling, live entertainment, the world, So we went through a very tough time, especially for, I guess, an independent brand like us. We're not, and we're still young. We're still young as a brand, and like if Pioneer Touring, said, "Hey, Metallica, come to Australia. We want to put you, all around the country," and they sold 50 tickets. Are they fucking coming? No, they're not. They're going to cancel their show because it doesn't make business sense. And look, long story short, I'm a promoter. I was putting shows together. I'm selling the show. I'm selling the talent. If people don't want to buy it, like, what am I going to do? Twist their arm? You know, there are different strategies. Don't get me wrong. There are different things you can do, and that's the big thing that's changed within me. A lot of mindset stuff. I was getting very angry with a lot of things, and I got to a point where I reevaluated not only wrestling but life. And I went, you know what? I need to reevaluate how I'm going about things. And so, look, we went on a suspension of trade, but to be honest with you, I thought I was done. I honestly thought I was done. And then I asked myself a question. I said, why are you doing this? You know, why? Why am I giving up my time and my own money to fund this, to give people a platform to do independent wrestling and entertain fans? And boom, there was my answer. Fans. The fans, the little kids, I'm not going to name names, but I can name you fans that buy tickets continually in our front row. Those people, they come to our shows. They hate the bad guys. They love the good guys, and they just enjoy themselves. And that is why I fucking do this. That's why I do it. And I needed to work out the why. And then I need to go, okay, how? How am I going to do this? So yeah, I've got some sponsors. Sayers Inc., which is a tattoo clinic, which are based in Lake Haven, and Jules. So they're Newcastle Central Coast based, and I believe they're going into Maitland soon. They helped us a lot, and I minimised the costs. And going back to Club Maitland City was absolute fucking gold for multiple reasons. Yeah, and that, like, in a nutshell, man, that's what changed was my mindset.
Yeah,
100% my mindset.
And I think sometimes as well, you got to take a step away from it to really be able to evaluate it and go, yes, this is something that I really enjoy doing. This is something that I can see to be a potential money maker in business. Like, bro, I feel like a lot of people go through that, and I feel like when you're so intertwined in it, and I feel like when you own a wrestling promotion, it's one of those things where your mind doesn't stop thinking about it, like it's a 24/7 type of thing, right?
Well, the thing is, let me just touch on the money thing. I don't do this for the money. You know, I'm not retiring to Mexico on my sweet, sweet independent wrestling money. You know what I mean? You know, I don't do this for the money. If I can break even and everyone gets paid, from photographer to the main event talent to the ref to whoever's loading the ring, if I can do all that and everyone's happy, I'm happy. I personally don't need to walk away with $1 from this. That's not why I do it.
But in the same sense, like, you know, and we've seen this over the years, and this isn't just in Australia, but also internationally as well. Like, promoters putting on a show, crowd's a little bit light. Sorry, I can't pay you. Like, I could try and think of it like, bro, if you're going to put on a wrestling show and you're going to hire people to do a service, you have to make sure that you have to pay them that agreed upon amount. Like, there's no, like, at the end of the show, sorry, it's a little light. Like, I don't really feel that is a good enough excuse for someone in business to use something.
It's an interesting point you make. I can on this hand right here, I can count the amount of wrestlers, independent wrestlers, that have said to me before coming in, hey mate, this is how much I expect, and this is when I expect it. No, it's only the interstate internationals, and I guess the people that have been in the circles in which they feel that they've got a set value. A lot of people, well, this is the impression they're giving me. All right, I could be wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. Is that as long as they're paid something, and as long as they're paid a reasonable amount for their time, everyone's happy. Everyone's happy. And those would be the people that aren't hitting me up going, hey man, I want $45.50. I want $97.35 plus GST. You know, they're not asking me because that's not their main motivator. It's not their main driver for it. Okay. And that's not me saying that people don't deserve to be paid. 100% they deserve to be paid. I fucking deserve to be paid. I haven't been paid a cent in 5 years. I know sympathy for the friggin' promoter. I get it. But, you know, point being is that, no, I agree. Everyone deserves to be paid. You know, if you've asked for a certain amount and you come in and you don't get it, Well, that's wrong. That's wrong.
Mm.
You should get, but if you haven't asked for a certain amount, and I've got a door, because most entertainment businesses work off a door versus, so like a guarantee versus, so you get a
Sure.
guarantee versus what comes through the door, in various different aspects like that, because they're worked out like that. So they're based on the ticket sales. They're not based on a model in
Mm.
which set up based on money you don't have. And look, without getting into the specifics of different industries and stuff like that,
Sure.
without this being clipped like Adam, no one deserves to be paid. Everyone deserves to be paid. Everyone should be paid as well as they can.
Mm.
Everyone should be. But sometimes shows don't draw shit. What do you want me to do? Please, I'm
Yeah.
open. I'm open. Whack it in the comments. I'm open to answers. Please.
100%. I feel like, but it also comes into a lot of accounts as well, as far as like why shows aren't drawing. I feel like, and it doesn't necessarily comes down to talent or booking or storyline. It comes down to location for some aspects as well, because, we've seen some shows that have, some great wrestlers performing on it, some great names on it, but location might not be the easiest one for people to get to. So it's something that people might go, okay, it's a bit of a miss. Do you feel sorry?
No, you go. You go.
No, I was just gonna say, like, we had Tyler Gunn on last week, and one of the comments that he was talking about was the amount of wrestling around the Hunter Valley, Newcastle, Maitland area. And we talked about, like, there's 3 promotions there. And earlier today we've seen All Star Wrestling announce that they're going to be coming down there to the Newcastle area as well. What's your take on what Tyler said? And then obviously we'll get into All Star coming down into that area to put on a show.
Well, first of all, Brock, Tyler Gunn, one of the hardest workers you'll ever see. Honestly, before and after, even during the show, he's one of the most talented motherfuckers. The guy can sew. He's a carpenter. He's an independent wrestler. He's probably other things, but I don't know about that. So I love the bloke. I think he's a good bloke. Though he said something. He said something the other week where he goes, I told him not to go into Newcastle. It's not going to work. Well, hindsight's 2020, and it did work. We did shows. People came. Define worked, So, and what that comes from.
Let me ask you this: How big were the houses that you drew at those times?
They weren't amazing, mate. They were about 100, 100 below. They weren't amazing, but the point being is, we're trying to start in new areas because the licensed premises won't touch independent wrestling in our area because we've had people running around smashing light tubes through people's fucking eyeballs, friggin' smashing people with friggin' cinder blocks, splashing blood over kids on the front row. And then I go, hey, mate, can I book a family-friendly wrestling event? No, we don't touch wrestling around here. So what was I supposed to do? I had to find a venue to continue shows to survive.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. It became about survival. It was really tough at one stage. It was really tough. And I did what I had to do to keep us going because I love what we do. As I said before. So in regard, going back to Brock and what he said, he's right. He's right. There's too many promotions in a small area. You've got a promotion up in Cessnock doing their thing, most of the time. If not, they're trying to book every licensed premises in the freaking New South Wales. For what reason? I don't know. Then you've got another promotion, a successful promotion in Newcastle, doing their thing. And mate, they've got their own place to do their house shows, and they're doing big shows at City Hall. Good on them. They're doing really well. That's amazing. And then you've got us. And there's a rich history behind the fact that there even is us in Suplex. Said their name. Here we go. Those are 18 plus shows, Adam, and you know it. Okay. We'll get to that in a second, Tim. But the thing is that there are too many promotions for the area, and what is the answer? Don't know. Does anyone have it? I'll be happy to hear it. Shutting down a promotion. Why should I?
I mean, I think, but the thing is, I think if all three promotions are able to put on shows and draw people and put on like entertaining value for fans, then why not? It doesn't matter. Like too many, could you add another three? You know what I mean? Like if everyone is drawing and every wrestler in that area is getting booked consistently and they don't have to drive hours to get to Sydney or to another, state to get a 5-minute match, that's a good thing, right?
What do you call a draw? Do you call 100 people successful? 120?
I mean,
I don't. Sorry, yeah.
Like I think I think when you draw and you're in the green for a show where you can make a little bit of profit, hell, if you make a lot of a profit, a bigger profit, that's great. But I mean, I honestly would think that a successful show would be a company that's in the green.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
You can have 50 people there, but sell your tickets for $100. Yeah, I'm not saying you would sell your tickets for $100, right? But if you had a show that spectacular that people would spend $100 to a show and you had 50, you know what I mean? Like you're still then going to be coming out in the green, depending on what you're paying your talent and what you're paying for the venue and ring. And
that's right. That's right. And look, if that's what people are doing, great. I know the reality of it, mate. I know how much it costs. I know how much people cost. I know how much venues cost. I know how much public liability insurance costs. I'm sure you've got that, Tim Wilkes, don't you, on your 18+ shows. But the thing is, what it comes down to is this: once an emotional promoter here in your pack. Oh, thank you. But yeah, no. What it comes down to is this. And can I just for a second? I want to go back before I forget about it. Sure. Now, Tim Wilkes, the Suplex GM manager, just mentioned Adam. They were 18+ shows, and you know it. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah, there we go. It's up again. So, yes, Tim. Yes, Tim. You do 18+ shows, and I do know it. So, thank you for letting me know. The other thing is, mate, Hexham Bowling Club. You remember when you first started, and you were damaging walls, and you were spraying blood everywhere, doing your barbed wire bullshit. Yeah, that's why we can't get into venues around the area, mate. So don't pull that fucking shit. Stick that shit and fuck off. All right, I'm done with that. Next question.
So is that where like the heat stems from between you and that company, Suplex? Like, is that the reason why you guys have some form of beef? Is because that they've gone in and deathmatch shows, ultra violent shows, and there's been complaints for them. Like, where does this beef stem from, Adam?
See, this is it's a touchy little subject. Okay, now I reached out to the Suplex guys recently, and I expressed to them about where the beef had come from, and look, I will say this right now, and I'll say it in front of whoever's watching. When I first came into this independent wrestling game, my mother had just passed away. She'd been a big part of Hunter Valley Wrestling. Okay. Now, there were certain pieces of information that were given to me. Now, they may or may not have been true. But at the time, I guess it's not really relevant because what I did was I sort of went after their promoter and I was like, no, fuck it. You want to say that shit about this shit? Fuck you. And I did. I went hard. And if I could have my time over again, I would have done it differently. And I've sent Jackson Spade an apology. Like let me finish. I've sent him an apology, letting him know where this is all even came from. I don't think he even knew. He didn't know. So I let him know where my anger had came from. And Piers, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say what it was. I'm sorry, because it's not fair to him. Because it may or may not even be true, and I don't want to start shit. I've apologized, and I want to move on. Okay, I want to move on, and I don't want to get involved in another fucking icky sticky back and forth bullshit. They're doing their thing, and good on them. They're doing their thing, and we're doing our thing. Okay, and that's where I want to leave it. If they had half a brain in their head and could drop their egos, they would see that if we were to do a combined, who doesn't want to see Jackson Spade versus fucking Lindstrom in a fucking hardcore match? Come on, that is the Hunter Valley rivalry of the last fucking 5 years. Who doesn't want to see that shit? But it'll never happen because of people's egos, and that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate.
But that's what it comes down to, is like, if that's good business and that's gonna draw the biggest house in the Hunter Valley area, then two promoters, you know what I mean, both need to put their egos aside to make that happen for business. That's good business.
My DMs are open, guys. If you want to do something and do something cool and do something that changes the Hunter Valley landscape, you team up and do a show that'll put the noses out of joint of the other place down by the water, hit me up. If not, that's fine. Let's just live our lives.
You know what? Let me throw this out there. Why don't you guys try and, nut this out, have a conversation and see if there's something that can be done here? Because I feel like if you're saying that this much business can be done there, I feel like it's smart for both companies to do it.
Look, I do too. I'd love to. I'd absolutely love to. But I'm not going to push it. I've been pushing them for years, mate. And I've, you get to a point where you wear out your welcome. Yeah. I've worn out my welcome. I've said what I've had to say, and I don't want to harass the guys. They know they're aware there's an opportunity there. Whether they share it with the rest of their talent or not, that's up to them. Well, they know about it now. But no, I want to do it. Tried to message you the other day, couldn't. Okay, right. All right, Tim. I'll send you a message. But the thing is, mate, there's a great opportunity to do something great, even if it's once a year. There's a fucking great opportunity to do something fun. Mend bridges, shake some hands. We don't have to get along, but we can do some good business. I think
100%. And, I feel, for the most part, you can see something special and you can put something aside to see what can be really done there. The second part of the question that we were continuing on from that was, we're seeing now All Star announced that they're going to be coming down to Newcastle and performing a show there. What's your take on that, and what's your thought on that?
What's my thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Sydney's a big place.
Mm.
Are there not enough fans there? Why do you need to come here for? If your performers want to be booked in Newcastle, all they've got to do is send an email or an SMS or a message. The fact that they're not, politics again. So do what you've got to do, guys, at Hamilton North Bowling Club with the ceiling that's got about 2.2 meters on it. Good luck jumping off the top rope.
Do you think that this is going to affect the wrestling scene in your area with these guys coming down and doing it on a show?
Nope. Next question.
Okay, fair enough. Moving on from that, we saw, Mikey Lord and his interview a couple of weeks ago. He made a couple of derogatory comments. Your name came up quite a few times in that one as well. There's a clip going around where he basically called you a gronk. Didn't really go in much further detail than that. What's your take on that? What was your thought? Where did this, beef and feud start with you and him?
Is this kind of like when the bogan calls you a bogan, or the gronk calls you a gronk, but they don't know they're the gronk, so they're calling you the gronk, but they're really the gronk? Anyway, it's like the chicken or the egg. Anyway, where did my beef with Mikey Lord start? Well, it started when Mikey Lord called someone a pedophile. that wasn't a pedophile. That's where it starts. Because for the people who are either tuning in for me or are first time listeners or whatever, let me just paint you a picture. Let me paint you a word picture for a second. This is well, I call him a young man because I'm old as fuck, but this is a young fella who grew up wrestling at Hunter Valley Wrestling. Grew up wrestling for my brother. Grew up wrestling. My mother loved him. She loved him so much that there was still $10, $15 left in an envelope from selling his merch that she continued to fucking sell when he was in jail. That's how much she loved this guy. Still got it if you want it. That's how much of a gronk I am. Still got your fucking money, mate. Anyway, point being is that he then went on a journey. He went on a journey, and that journey sort of culminated when he's had a bit of a rough time on a tour with All Star Wrestling. And he's done some things, allegedly assaulted people, and just caused a general ruckus, which got him kicked off the tour. Cops were called to the venue. He fled the venue and went to what I'm allegedly told a local pub. I don't know. If I'm not getting the specifics right, please don't quote me because it's not the point. And whilst he was there, he decided to call the promoter of All Star a pedophile, and he's this and that and whatever. Which, by the way, none of it is true. None of it is true. None of it is remotely true. Okay. So myself, Brock, and a few other people basically said, man, look, if you're going to say something like that about somebody, it'll better be true. Because shit like that sticks.
Yeah,
shit like that, it sticks, and it can affect people's lives outside of wrestling. It can affect people's relationships. You know, it's if you accuse someone of something like this, you're always that guy who was accused of X, Y, and Z. That's not fair. And do you know what this terrible, terrible human being did to deserve to be called this terrible thing? Do you know what he did? The rooms he paid for these people to stay in, including Mikey Lord, were in someone else's pocket in another room while Mikey had to sleep somewhere else. Isn't that terrible? Doesn't that deserve to be called all these names under the sun?
Yeah.
Doesn't it? So
it's pretty dark.
So I'm being, if anyone can't tell if the sarcasm meter's on, I'm being pretty sarcastic here. So that's what he did. Okay. All the other stuff that happened, I'm not going to get into because it's not my life. I'm talking about a specific thing in which you're asking me about. He then got upset, right? He got upset about the fact that I said to my talent on a private chat, a private page, a private staff group, that if you're going to support Mikey Lord in any way, shape, or form, you may be unbooked from my show because I'm not going to support this behavior in the wrestling. I can't control the things that I can't control, but
sure.
What I could control, I said, if you guys, seriously, where the fuck are your morals? If you're going to support this behavior, I don't want to be associated with you, really, if I can avoid it. And that was screenshotted by someone on my personal staff page, which is a little disappointing, but it is what it is. And distributed to him. So what he's upset about and why I'm a fucking gronk is because I have a moral compass in which thought that his behavior was fucking terrible and he shouldn't be allowed to generate a profit or be a part of the industry in any way, shape, or form until he fucking works on himself and gets himself to a point where he's healthy and come back and do the good shit that you were fucking doing because you're fucking good, mate. You are really good. But this stuff, this anger, this toxicity has controlled you so much you can't see past it. And then the only thing he said, he had been silent for 12 months, for a year. And then he decides to talk about it on your podcast. And he says, this is the thing that got me. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm sorry. But Mitch, hey, you fucked up too. It was like fucking Studio 54 from the 70s, mate, all the finger pointing going on. And the thing is, that's not an apology, mate. That is not a fucking apology. Okay? Now, I'm going to continue talking about this just for a second, if that's okay. I'm going to park Mikey just to the right for a second, because I'm going to actually teach someone how to fucking apologize. This is how it's done, mate. If you watch it, Mikey Vendetta, I'm really sorry. I don't know your real name. I'm sorry. My apologies. Okay.
Rads.
Radecki. There you go. Sorry, I do know your name. Sorry, my apologies. In this post, I mentioned you. Okay, and that was based on information I had, and I really should have fact checked it, to be honest. Now, sincerely, and from the bottom of my heart, I apologize. I shouldn't have mentioned your name. I shouldn't have associated you with Mikey Lord in that context, and I apologize. Okay, you're watching, dickhead. That's how you apologize. Now, the other thing I will say is, if you just apologize, Mikey, Anthony, seeing you like to name people's names on podcasts, Anthony, if you just apologize and fucking mean it, this will go away. People will forgive you. It will go away. Okay? I've been down some dark holes in my life, and I see a person who's in pain, a person struggling. Okay? And that's okay, mate. All right? I want you to know it's okay. Go and heal yourself. If you're not already, please go and heal yourself. If you're not off the drugs, get off the drugs. If you need to talk to someone, talk to someone. Get off the booze and go and heal yourself. Wrestling will be here when you get back, mate. All right? All of this negativity, toxicity, and calling people fucking names and messaging people, telling them you're going to fight them in the fucking car park and you're going to be at their training place every day that they're there. You don't need to do this. Fucking relax, center yourself, go get some help, and we'll be here when you get back, mate. All right? I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, fair enough, man. No, we can definitely move on from that. We did have one question there. Did you want to answer that one?
Yeah, what's the question?
Adam, how do you feel that Piers profiting off of Mikey Lord's story and his personal life? Well, I got nothing to hide. You can ask any question you want. What do you want to know?
How you going with all that sweet shooting the shit money, mate, from Mikey Lord's story? You got a book coming?
Oh yeah, dude. Like, it's next level, man. Like, the Patreon is blowing up now. Like, it's just fucking, it's ridiculous, man. That money, that payday is massive. Massive.
How do I feel about Piers profiting? Well, first of all, I'd like you to clarify profiting. And second of all, Mikey chose to come on a fucking podcast, not profiting money but not profiting money but publicity. Mikey chose and willingly came on a podcast to talk about his life and his issues, and he did that. To think that you can't put yourself in the public eye and people aren't going to have an opinion on that, especially when you fucking call out every motherfucker in fucking New South Wales while you're doing it, and don't mean anything that you fucking say when you apologize, it's only natural that people are going to want to have something to say about it. Someone's going to want to, respond. So, so I don't feel that Piers is profiting with publicity. I feel he's being very smart about getting people onto his podcast that people may want to listen to. And if it so happens to correlate with something that's been on before, so be it. Maybe don't get on podcast and call out every cunt in the fucking state. Don't know. Maybe make some of those smarter choices you were talking about, bro.
100%. And bro, this is what's funny, man. Like, Millennium Man, you have no idea, bro. Like, behind that, you have no idea, bro. I'm behind who was booked and not unbooked for nothing, bro. Like, you're completely. You like, I'm not trying to attack you. I'm not trying to point you out, but you have no idea what you're talking about there, bro. Like, that's behind the door shit that you have no fucking knowledge of.
Can I ask you a question, Piers?
Mm.
May I?
Sure, of course.
He raises a fair point. Mikey's been booked based on his controversial recent history on EWA. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, my thoughts are like he was booked, but then unbooked. I think I don't even know the full story. I work for EWA, but I'm not heavily involved in the bookings of the show. I get contacted. It's like, this is what you're doing, blah 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 blah, and I kind of keep that with most of the places that I work. You know what I mean? Like, I don't try and get into any sort of group conversations about stuff that doesn't pertain to what I'm doing. So I saw about it when everyone else did. Then, like I said, I don't even know the full story, so I can't comment. I really don't. I just don't know.
Seems like an interesting choice to book someone based on what's been going on lately. But anyway, I'll leave that.
I'm not yelling at you, bro, but I'm simply saying that's just me talking loudly. I don't know the full story, but I'm not also going out there and throwing out accusations either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's straight up. But anyway, getting back to the point here. Did you feel like, because you did message me after, like, the second podcast that we did with Tyler, and you were like, I used to remember the days where my name didn't get mentioned in your podcast quite regularly. Were you upset that, like, what was sort of mentioned, and how did you, like, sort of feel about it when you did hear your name getting, like, mentioned a couple of times?
Look, are we talking about Brock? Yeah, Tyler.
Yeah, both.
Yeah. Oh, well, as much as I love being called a Gronk, I figured we weren't talking about Mikey Lord. No, Tyler's an interesting one for me. And, he said a couple of things where, that's probably going to get you heat with Kingdom, but fuck it. Well, this is probably going to get me heat with Tyler Gunn, so fuck it. And the thing is, Tyler Gunn came in from Suplex and had trained with them and done his thing and had his built up some momentum. They actually did quite a good job with Tyler Gunn. And then I'm not privy to the reason for his first of his 900 retirements, but I'm not privy to that. But he then retired and then came out and then came over to us. And once again, I've got nothing but positive things to say about Brock in regards to his work ethic, his creativity, his fucking skill. He's the most skilled fucking dude I've ever met in my life, honestly. And when that dude figures out exactly where he wants to be in life, he's gonna fucking smash it. Absolutely is. But he came in and we saw something in him. Grant and I saw something in him, and we immediately invested in him. We invested 12 months in him, to the point where we had to hot shot the belt. Unfortunately, you guys mentioned that in the last podcast. We had to, because unfortunately booking isn't as simple as writing it on a piece of paper and doing it. Shit happens, people get injured, stuff happens. And he commented on us changing stuff on the day. Fucking last time I checked, Vince McMahon rewrites a whole fucking show on the day. So it's not uncommon for that sort of stuff to happen. However, we put him in a great spot. We gave him to date, probably the best run of his the start of his career. And he chose to blindly support the bigger organization to the point where it's almost like, are you not promoting this on purpose, bro? Like, is there a problem here? Is the belt that I put on you and the push that we pushed you for over 12 months not good enough? Like, have I done something wrong? I almost felt like it was like our fault he was injured. He got injured or something. Like, I don't know. It almost felt like everything we did was never good enough. And because it wasn't Newey Pro, it was just not good enough. And that was really upsetting. It was really upsetting to put so much time into a kid who you've got so much time for. And just whether it was meant or not, I just felt like, I don't know, I just felt like maybe he did appreciate, but it was never really said. And I felt, that's really disappointing. And it kind of hurt me, hurt Grant, because Grant put a lot of his time and body into making that kid look good.
Yeah.
And because the kid is good. The kid is good. I'm not saying he's not good.
Did you
Um,
ever did you ever sit down and have a conversation with him about it and say, hey, what's up with this?
no, and look, I've failed in a lot of areas as a promoter,
Mm.
and I'll openly admit that I'm not perfect. This is probably another area where I could have been the older fella. I should have sat down with the kid and said, look, hey mate, look, not really happy about X, Y, and Z. Can you talk me through it? What's the deal? We have had conversations, but I guess I don't know. I kind of, as my friend Daniel Ryan said on the post earlier in regards to the great COVID rumble of 2021, it just left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. And Brock, if you're listening, and I'm sure you are, I'd like to have a conversation about it, to be honest. But so yeah, look, for the most part, I really did enjoy what he had to say. But there was just a couple of things where I went, yeah, I guess I don't quite see it the same way.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like, both of you guys seem like, nice, genuine dudes. I think that could do some good business together. So hopefully, there could be some, fences mended and stuff like that. And, even someone says here in the comments, all promoters should look to Mercedes as the bar. And, to be honest, Mark Mercedes, who's been doing this for over 20 years and, very smart head on his shoulders when it comes to the business. Yeah, I absolutely agree.
I'd love to sit down with him and have a beer. If anyone's got some contact details, or if anyone's watching that knows him, love to sit down and have a beer with him, pick his brain.
Yeah, I can try and put you guys in contact. That's not a problem. So,
that's right. He called you on the last podcast. I forgot about that.
He did, man. He called me during Phil Picasso's podcast, and it's like kind of random because it's like usually if someone would call me during a podcast, I'll just like no sell it and just move on. Yeah. But it was like I'm interviewing Phil Picasso and Mark Mercedes is ringing me, so I was kind of like, you know what I mean? Like I had to take the call, so it was pretty cool.
Hey, got to take the call. When opportunity knocks, you answer.
That's it, man. But now going back and getting back into promoting shows and getting talent and booking talent to come in, how has the planning of this show been for you?
Mate, this show has been so much fucking fun. We've Grant Lindstrom is the booker. He's been having a lot of fun. We've had access to some talent we haven't had access to for a little while. And that's amazing. We're back home at Maitland City, even though it's in a slightly smaller room. It's good to be home. And we've got some access to some talent that we haven't had access to before. And I'll utilize the tag team championship open challenge. That's a team in which has never stepped foot in Kingdom before. They've never been here. They've never done anything. So, not even Grant. Actually, Grant doesn't even know. Grant or Falco. They've got no idea who they're going up against. It was literally signed today. So, wow. That sort of stuff. We've got some people showing interest. We've got our solid core talent. We've got a very competitive. We're unifying our main card title, which for me. I'm not an AEW mark, but it comes to a point where there's too many belts. Too many belts, they stop meaning something. That's one thing Suplex did do, which I thought was really amazing when they consolidated their what was it, their junior heavyweight and their main card for an undisputed. So they did that quite well, and that's a similar sort of, I guess, route we're going down. We're looking to make our belts mean more. So
I think like if you've got an 8-match card and 5 of those matches are title matches, it does sort of lose its luster there, right?
It does, and look, I've been doing a little bit of research and listening to our mate Jim Cornette, and just listening to listen to his stories about the territory days and time limit draws and non-title matches and just different aspects like that, which just really got me excited about things, the different things you can do when you have less belts. So it's an exciting time, where We've got a little bit of finance behind us now, so we've got. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's a good time. It's a good time. We were struggling for a while. So today, I don't know. I can't. All these questions are going real quick. I can't.
Yeah, I know they're sort of coming up. Velocity versus Elite. It'd be good to see Paris come back to Maitland. Well, there you go. There's another match.
He's always welcome. I haven't seen him since the HVW days.
KV in the house as well. So, you know, he's saying he wants a shot at whoever wins the unification match. So
get your ass up to Maitland, mate, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, man. So, you know, with everything else that's going on, you got this show coming up. What are you expecting numbers-wise? Are you expecting a sold-out house for the first show back?
I hope so. You know, look, you know, everyone gets a hard-on for fucking numbers. Everyone gets a hard-on for the draw, you know. One thing I want to put out there, we drew 120 plus. What's plus? Come on, mate. Just say it. If it's 123, it's 123. It's 120. Just fuck plus off. You look like a dickhead, right? So basically, just say what the number is. Our capacity is 130. It's not huge, mate. It's not huge at all. Do I expect to sell it out? Yeah, I hope so. If not this one, the next one. So, and there's another venue in town for our bigger shows, in which I'm looking at, which I'm not going to say here because I don't want. Well, apparently every man and his dog wants to do a show in Newcastle, so I'm not going to say what it is. But yeah, we've got options to do bigger shows. But hey, let's crawl before we can walk. You know, like this is our first priority is do the show. That's our first priority. Do the show, have a good show.
No, 100%. You know, and like you mentioned, people have been reaching out to you. Has it been sort of overwhelming as far as the talent? And have you been surprised with any of the names that have reached out to you wanting to work on a Kingdom show?
There's been a few. Yeah, look, there has been a few. Yes. Long story short, there's been a few. And yeah, some have been quite surprising. Some very surprising. And I guess if you're there on June 24, you're going to see just how surprising some of those people are. But however, some have been, you know, expected. And, you know, some have burnt bridges, and it is what it is.
Talking about bridges and stuff. So like your brother, you know, which everyone knows is, you know, Grant Lindstrom, you know, who's been in the business for, you know, a very, very long time. Have you guys found like, you know, guilty by association on certain things where like there might be people that have heat with Grant that, you know what I mean? Like you've done nothing to, but automatically because you're his brother, you have heat with that person and vice versa. Is that something that you've experienced in the wrestling business since you came into it?
Yeah, I have. When I first came in, people thought they could take advantage of me. They saw me as the new guy. And also people went, it's Grant's brother. So they thought, I don't like Grant for some reason, so I don't like Adam. But now, almost 5 years later, it's the other way around. Grant's a good bloke and I'm the fucking shithead. So yeah, it comes with the territory. And mate, if I upset every time someone called me a bad name or thought a bad thing about me or was upset that I didn't book them to go over, I probably wouldn't be here. But hey, I was told by a certain promoter in Cessnock that I have no what was the word? I have no right to be in this business. Well, almost 5 years on, and I'm still here. Get fucked.
Can you say who said that to you?
Nah.
No, you're not gonna sell that one. Okay.
Nah, I'm not gonna.
Tyler Gunn's in the chat, and he said he's open for a chat. Name is Tyler, by the way.
I'm open to that chat too, mate. We'll chat soon.
Man, I feel like this has been a pretty progressive podcast, really, bro. Like, I feel like we've mended some fences here. I feel like there's definitely been some repair happening here.
Time will tell. Time will tell because, you know, look, do you have a specific question or am I free to just say something?
You can say whatever you want, man.
Look, when I first came into this business, I didn't respect the business. I cared about me. I cared about me and my grief and what I was going through. And I cared about, quote unquote, holding people accountable. Right.
Mm.
And if I could have my time over again, I would have done it differently. So I came in and I sent certain talent messages saying, "Hey, don't." I can't remember what I said, to be honest with you, but it was basically bagging out Suplex. um, if I could have my time over again, I would have done it differently. I would have had more respect for the business, and that's one thing I do have now. You know, I've tried really hard to learn a lot about this business. I've tried really hard to learn a lot about not just the business, but how the organic nature of how matches are made up, psychology, different aspects of that, and also the event, the way the events are set up, and so forth. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that um, I could have done better. I
Mm.
could have done. Um, am I that same person I was almost 5 years ago? No, I'm not. However, you know, people still want to hold me accountable for the person that I was 5 years ago. I can't control that. If you want to hold on to that anger and that frustration and not want to be booked by me or for whatever reason, then I respect that and that's fine. However,
Mm.
that's not me. That's not me now. And I love nothing more than to be able to work with some people that don't want to work with me for various reasons and just create something really cool, something really big. And, you know, I'm not talking 120 people in a fucking small room. I'm talking, let's do some good shit with the local wrestlers, local
Mm.
promoters, local photographers, local videographers. Let's do some fucking fun shit. And if I've offended you in that time, I apologize. I apologize. I don't want to live in that space anymore. I don't want to live in a space where everyone's angry with everyone anymore. That's just not where I want. If you want to be there, that's fine. That's okay. But I wanted to at least say my piece. And there are a couple of people I wanted to actually specifically name and apologise to. Am I right to do that, Piers?
Absolutely. You have open floor, man. Go for it.
All right. So Slade Mercer in Victoria. I had him booked on a show in January. We had a bit of a disagreement in regards to a couple of things. Mate, I handled that poorly,
Mm.
and I apologise.
What
Okay.
happened? Because we got people in the chat asking what happened with Slade Mercer. We got people saying
Okay.
what was the story with Slade Mercer. So,
Oh,
can,
really?
can,
I can't see the chat. Yeah, I can talk about it.
oh, okay,
Um,
yeah, no, we had someone throw it up here. So let's break it down there. Like, what happened on this whole thing? Where did this all go wrong?
yeah, it's not really a big deal, to be honest. I just kind of handled it poorly. So basically, I had a show booked. Fuck, when was it? Was it January? December, January? I think it was January this year. Show didn't sell. Show didn't do well. Had to can it. And I'd made an agreement with Slade to put up an upfront deposit of X amount of money. And then the show got cancelled. And I felt because there was no money that, you know, things should be null and void. However, I agreed that I would pay him. And I did. I did pay him. I spoke out on social media and was angry. I was angry because the show was cancelled. I was frustrated, and people still had their hands out, and that wasn't his fault. That was my fault. That's what happened. You know, I did the right thing, but you know, once again, I could have handled it better. Mate, there's probably a million promoters out there that could handle things a lot better. Probably a lot of pro wrestlers out there that could handle things a lot better. But I just wanted to utilize some of this forum to just, you know, just air a couple of things and just sort of try and speak to some people and say, guys, look, doesn't need to be like this.
Mm.
And if I need to apologize, I'll apologize.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you can look back at it and hindsight being 2020, you can kind of look at certain things. And like I know during experiences that I've had over the years, in business, in the podcast business as well, like sometimes you get burnt out, sometimes you react in ways which aren't necessarily really you, but you feel like. You know what I mean? Like that's the best reaction or that's the best course to take at that time. if that makes sense.
Yeah, it was just emotionally reactive. There was nothing smart about it. There was nothing smart about it. I was just emotionally reactive, and I handled it poorly. So,
Yeah.
just do you want to fall against Suzu? Well, it's just a bit. I don't understand what that means. So I'm just trying to read comments.
No.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to get that out there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think for everything that we've covered off here, how do you feel, about this podcast, about what we've discussed here tonight? Do you feel like you've been able to get off your chest everything that you really wanted to get off and really sort of open up?
Look, I think mostly, I didn't want to react to Mikey. Like the dude's going through some shit. I just wanted him to know that just go and look after you. This shit'll be here. I'm not trying to be this big fucking, preacher or whatever. It's reality. I go to a counsellor every fortnight. It's okay. It's okay to not be in a good space. We forget that he's a person. Not just fucking Mikey Lord the character. He's a person. All right.
Yeah.
But let's all fuck. I'm not saying excuse his behaviour, but
no.
Let's just remember this guy's a person. Just fucking go do what you got to do, bro. All right. I said a couple of things about suplex tonight, but I wasn't planning to. But the crux of it was that, guys, let's be smart. But in some ways, let's work together. Let's stop this fucking stupid little rivalry. Like, it's good to have a rivalry. Don't get me wrong. The rivalry's been great because it's helped us both push. Don't get me wrong. It's been great. But at what point do you start being smart?
But has anyone benefited from a rivalry like this? Like, honestly, like, what's the benefit here?
The only benefit is from the individual camps and the drive. The drive to not want to be fucking, the drive to be better. Do you know what I mean? The drive to draw more, the drive to whatever. I know initially we'll call and show certain names. You Want a War was their first show or something like that. Initially that was from the Hunter Valley suplex breakoff. There's a deep history there, but the point being is that I think the only benefit, like, I remember a bad house for Grant was 150 back in the day. But people are bragging 150 plus these days. Like, what the fuck? What are you bragging about 150 plus for? It's not a fucking brag, mate. Let's really look at it. Let's look at local bands. Let's look at local fucking any attraction. And if you're bragging about 150 people, mate, you need to be fucking doing better. And that's the big thing. It's broken the crowd off. It's broken the crowds apart, especially up our way. Suplex is doing 130, we're doing 100. There's up to 230 to 250 people that could be coming to one show.
So do you think is that a possibility?
No, look, I'd like to think so. I'll be hopeful, but I just know how stubborn. they are. It probably won't happen.
Yeah, man. I think we've been able to get into a lot of good stuff here, man. But as far as the show coming up this Saturday, Adam, where can everyone get tickets for Kingdom?
Yeah, jump on our socials, mate. So jump on our Facebook and our Insta. It's at Eventbrite / something or other. But just jump on. So Kingdom Wrestling Entertainment. There's still tickets available. All our VIP reserve seats are sold out. But there's plenty of adult and kids tickets left. We're probably about 80%. 80% of all our tickets sold out, so we're expecting a few on the day. So if you're going to wait for the day, that's cool. That's your choice. But I really don't want to have to be the guy saying, "Sorry, man, you can't come in." So I'd recommend you jump online and grab your ticket.
There you go, man. I think everyone should go and do that now. But also, where can people find Kingdom and yourself on social media and give you guys a follow and support you guys?
You might have to whack it in the comments, man. I can't remember the exact URL, but it's Kingdom Wrestling Entertainment, and on both socials, so Instagram and sorry, I'm just trying to read questions, and also on Facebook. So
yeah, Yep. Done, man. Go and check out Kingdom. But, huge shout out to our sponsor, Health Vape. Thank you to Adam for being on. Make sure you check out our social media and my social media to make sure that you're keeping up to date with all podcasts that we're releasing. We're dropping 2 free episodes every single week, every Tuesday and every Thursday. So make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell for the greatest podcast in the world, Shooting the Shit Uncensored, because I'm the truth, Piers Austin, and we'll see you again very soon. Take care. All the best. Peace out.